Hey there, Stampers. Happy Friday. Welcome to this week's live and Christmas in July. Today I will be sharing how to take one sheet of double-sided pattern paper and creating 6 cards out of it. We'll go through everything from cutting everything down, what you need, and some ideas on products that you can use if you don't have what I am using. All right, my name is Sherry Roth. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Alberta, Canada, and I am excited to be here with you today. All right, so first of all, I'm going to share some of the products that I'm using and kind of what I look for when I'm doing a one-sheet wonder. I have recently, probably within the last year or so, gotten hooked on one-sheet wonders. They are just so fun. I love to be able to use my products up and have very little waste. Okay, so I am using some pattern paper called the Season of Green and Gold. It is a new product release. It was released the beginning of July as an online exclusive item. So you can see it's all shades of green and gold foil accents. It's a beautiful pattern paper. So here is one side, and then here is the other side. Okay, so what I look for when I do a one-sheet wonder, it is helpful if you can choose a pattern that is not directional, and even better if both sides are not directional. So for my sample that I created, which I'll share with you in a moment, I used this pattern here. So this one you can see that you can use it this way, or you can use it this way, and then the back side. The back side, does have a little bit of a direction, but it doesn't have to be directional because it will work in both directions. So that's what I used. And then today I am using, I have to look at the back side, I think it's this one. I'm going to use this one here. So it's got little diamond shaped gold foil accents and then leaves on the back. And again, this could be directional, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, so that's the first thing that I do. Then the other thing that I do is I will look at the pattern, the rest of the pattern papers, and see if there is a sheet that has elements that can be cut, whether it's die cut or fussy cut. And this paper pack has 2 sheets where there are dies that will cut some of these images, or if you don't have the dies, you can fussy cut them. Okay, so that is what I'm going to use for my, or one of the things that I'm going to use for my to embellish my cards. If your pattern paper pack does not have that, then just look through your stash and see if you've got like some stamps and dies that you can use in its place. All right. Okay, so that's the paper pack that I'm going to use. And I will have a full supply list of everything that I use in the description as well. There is also some coordinating vellum. This vellum is so pretty, so pretty. You get 2 sheets of each of these. It's called the Graceful Greenery Vellum. And there are dies that will cut out some of these images as well. And you can see there's lots of shades of green in here. So you've got some old olive, mossy meadow, garden green, lots and lots of green. So there's that one, there's this one, and then there's this one. I'm not sure how well this is showing up on camera, but it's got almost like a grungy kind of pattern to it, which is super fun. This could be used for any time of the year. So there's that. I also happen to throw in a little bit of gold foil as well, since we've got some gold accents on our DSP. And then I'll go through the extra cardstock and stuff that you need in a minute. And then the greeting set. So you will need a greeting set for your cards. I am using the Greetings of the Season bundle, which is part of this suite, this Season of Green and Gold suite. I absolutely love this bundle. The greetings in here are perfect for the outside of the cards and the inside, which is always nice. And there's these incredibly versatile Greetings of the Season die tags, or tag dies. And then in addition to this, let me just grab it. You can purchase an everyday greeting set. So you can see that these are the same fonts, and you can mix and match some of the greetings in here. So like you could do happy birthday. So there's different ways that you can use these 2 sets together. So these 2 items do come as a bundle, and you can save 10%. And this is kind of something that you can add on to. Okay. And then the last thing that I'm going to use is this. Now this is the Birchwood embossing folder. This is a 6x8 embossing folder. It is not available to customers at the moment. It is going to be in the September to December mini catalog. So it won't be available to customers until that catalog goes live in September. However, if you are a demonstrator, you will be able to pre-order this if you did not participate in Creativity Now back in June. It will be available to pre-order beginning August 6th for the pre-order. And if you are considering becoming a demonstrator, now is a great time to do so, because then you'll be able to get pre-order products from the next mini catalog at a discount. All right, so that is a product I'm super excited about that I'm using today that will be available a little bit later on. Okay, the other thing that I look for is I love to include fibers on my cards and embellishments. So what I do when I decide on my pattern paper is I will go through my stash and see what I have that coordinates. So the first thing I do is I pull out anything that coordinates, that comes as part of the suite. And this ribbon, it's the cream, what is it called? Cream woven ribbon. This ribbon is part of this Season of Green and Gold suite. So it's like a cream color. It's so soft and it's a great width. It's beautiful, beautiful ribbon. So I pulled out that, and then I looked through my stash to see what else I had. So I had this 1/8 inch gold trim. This is an online exclusive as well. You get a spool of gold and silver together. So I wanted to bring in some of that gold, so I pulled that out. And then I also pulled out some vanilla twine. If you watch my videos, you know that I am a twine lover. I hardly ever create a project that does not have twine or fibers of some sort in it. So I pulled out some vanilla twine, and I looked in my retired product, and I have some of this old olive linen thread that was retired many, many years ago. And I am not against using retired product. I don't use it for my classes, but when I do my videos, I will include retired product because I know a lot of you don't necessarily have all the current stuff. So I want to show you ways that you can use what you have on hand. Okay, and then as far as embellishments, again, I pulled out something that's current. So this is, I don't think these are part of the suite, but I thought that these pecan pie embellishments would work. So they're pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive back dots. So this again is online exclusive. And then I pulled out these from my retired stash. These work beautifully with this collection. So these are the Gold Adhesive Backed Swirls. So I pulled out those to use as well. Okay, so those are the products that I'm going to be using. I have one ink pad. I believe I'm using the same color. Oh, actually 2 ink pads. I'm using Mossy Meadow and a Versamark ink pad. Okay, all right. Now, as far as the additional cardstock and things that you'll need, you will need 6 card bases. So we are going to be making 6 cards from one sheet of pattern paper. So 5 of them will be just the standard 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. All right, and I have 2 in Old Olive, 1 in Mossy Meadow, and 2 in Very Vanilla. And then one of them will be 4 1/4 by 11 scored at 5.5. So they're all still the same size cards. This one is just cut a little bit differently because this card is going to be a little bit of a fun fold. So those are the card bases that you're going to need. So you'll want to cut those in colors that coordinate with whatever pattern paper you're using. And then I have a little strip of gold that I'm going to be using. So a 1/2 inch by 8 would be perfect because you need 2 4-inch strips. Okay. And then I've got 4 pieces of vanilla, 4 by 5 1/4, that are going to go inside of each of these. Don't worry about writing all these measurements down. In today's blog post, which will go live, it will have all the measurements that you need. So Very Vanilla, those are going to be for the inside of my cards. And then I have 1 piece of Mossy Meadow, 4 by 5 1/4, again, embossed with that beautiful birch wood embossing folder. And then I have a 1/4 inch strip of another pattern from that paper pack. Okay, so this is a 1/4 inch. I don't know how long this is. I'm gonna need about a 4-inch piece. I just cut a strip. Okay, so, and then you'll need some scraps of vanilla and your coordinating colors. So if you have all that pulled out, then you're ready to go. The first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to cut our pattern paper. So I'm gonna walk you through cutting that. Set this aside, pull in my paper trimmer. Okay. All right, I'm just catching up on the comments here. Oh, well, that's so nice, Shelley. Thank you so much for the kind comments. I'm glad that you're watching. Okay, so we've got our 12 by 12 piece of pattern paper. It doesn't matter. If it's directional, then you're probably gonna want to pay attention to how you cut it. But to be honest, I highly recommend that you choose something that is not directional, because some of our cards are landscape. We're folding it up. Some of them you can see both sides. So it's much simpler if you choose a pattern that is not directional. So my first cut is going to be at 5 inches. So I'll cut that at 5 inches. Then we're gonna rotate this piece and we're gonna cut it at 6 inches. So we're cutting it in half. And then we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna score it at 3 3/4. Okay, and I'm just going to fold that. I can fold it better a little bit later. This piece I'm gonna score at 3 3/4 as well. Okay. So those two pieces we'll set aside. Then we're going to take the rest of our cardstock and we're going to cut it at 4 inches. And then this piece we're going to cut into 3 pieces that measure 4. So it'll be 3 4 by 4 pieces. Just like that. One piece we're going to leave as is. These 2 pieces, what we're going to do is we're going to take a pencil and we're going to mark it at, I'm just lining it up, I'm going to mark it at 1 inch on this side and 3 inches on this side. And then I'll line up those pencil marks and there it is. Right here. Okay. I should probably have marked it on the other side. It's a little bit easier to see so that we've got an angle cut like that. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Let's mark it on this side so it's a little bit easier to see. So lining it up with that groove. And I've got 1 and 3. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to angle cut it. Okay, there we go. So now we've got another one. And you can use these either way. All right, now this last piece, so this should be 3 inches by 12 inches. We're gonna cut it at 2 inches. So we've got a 2-inch piece, and then we're going to cut it at 4 inches. And this one we're going to rotate and we're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. So I've got the 3-inch side at the top, and I'm going to score like that, and then fold this over. And then this piece here, I'm going to score at, so the 6-inch length is at the top, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Okay, we'll just fold that over. Okay, all of our cutting and scoring is done. And I just need to open my window. It gets so hot in here when the door is closed and I don't have a breeze. Okay, so let's put all our pieces together so that we know what we've got, so that we can kind of stay organized here. All right, so I'm going to pull in one of my card bases, And I'm going to take my 4x4 square and this 2x3 inch piece. And then we need a vanilla for the inside and our gold strip. So that's going to be card number 1. We're going to start with the simplest card and then work our way up. Not that any of the cards are super elaborate. Okay, and then for the next 2 cards, we're going to use the vanilla card bases. And for these 2, we're going to take these 2 pieces and these 2 pieces. So those are going to be next. And then our next 2 are going to be, oh, you know what? I was reversing these here. So this should be the single card base. And then these 2, this is where we're going to use these 2 pieces. And then our last card, that is this one. Oh, I guess we need our vanilla base with these 2 pieces as well. We'll put this, our vanilla insert. That. For this one, we need this piece, all of our leftover pieces. So all of those pieces. That's going to be our final card. So we'll stack these up. And we're going to pull in this piece, these pieces. This is the first card that we're going to create. So this is what we're making here. So all of these cards are very simple. You can easily mass produce any of these. So if you wanted to mass produce this one, you could take a pattern piece of paper, cut it into 4x4 pieces, and you would get 9 cards from one sheet of pattern paper, and then choose a coordinating piece for this die here. And then you just need some vanilla for the inside, and you've got a quick and easy Christmas card. Okay? So, let's see here. We're going to fold our card base, and we're going to take our piece. And here you want to decide, do you want the green side up or do you want the vanilla side up? I'm going to do it the green. I like that. I like the lots of green showing. And I am going to use my seal for this. Anything that has kind of a shiny surface, I prefer to use seal adhesive so that it doesn't slide around. Multi-purpose glue is normally my top pick for adhesive, but with a shiny surface like this, a liquid glue can be a little slippery and things can move around. So I'm just taking this and leaving it so I've got maybe about 1/8 of an inch of that gold showing on both the top and the bottom. Okay, and then this is going to go on here like that. And for this I can use multi-purpose glue. That's going to go on here so that we have an even border in the top and the bottom, and then about 1/8 of an inch on on both of the 2 sides. I think that looks like it's straight. Okay. Set that aside. We're going to do some die cutting. So I have this piece left, and I need to grab my dies here. I wanted to create kind of like a little notch here, and I was looking at these dies, or flag, I guess. And so I'm going to use this. We're going to use this side, and we're going to cut 2 of them. So I could do it like this, but then I've got a long piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 1 this way and then 1 this way. I don't want the whole because I want to use 1 here and then 1 here. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my die cut machine. And we'll line this up. So this one I'm going to do this way. So that's about half of that 2x3 inch piece. So now I've got that we'll use, and now I'm going to flip this over, and now I can do it, yeah, we'll do it this way. Yeah, it will work either way. So we're going to do it this way. This is a little bit smaller than half, but it's okay because it's just going to go on the inside. It's just my way of using up all of those little bits and pieces of pattern paper that I've cut. All right, so we've got that. We can move this out of the way. So welcome to those of you who are just joining in. Thank you for being here. We are creating 6 Christmas cards from one sheet of pattern paper. So if you missed how to cut your pattern paper, you'll just want to go back and revisit the beginning of this video later on so that you can find out how to cut it to get the most out of your pattern paper. So I'm going to stick this on here like that. And then I'm going to take this one. This one's going to go at the top here. Like that. And then we're going to stamp on the inside. And there are some fabulous greetings in this greeting set. So I'm going to stamp the "May your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration" on the inside using Mossy Meadow ink. If you are not a wordy person, this is a great greeting to stamp on the inside because it takes up a lot of space. So there's not a whole lot of room left to write, but you can always add another layer of vanilla on the back of the card front if you need a little bit more space. Okay, so we've got that. That's going to go on the inside. And now I'm going to bring in this piece, which I've die cut from some vanilla cardstock. So this is this shape right here. And I'm going to stamp "Merry Christmas." And I'm going to stamp it a little bit closer to the left-hand side. So we'll stamp. Let's make sure it's straight. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's super windy here today. So windy. We've had like plus 30 degrees Celsius weather lately, and the last 2 days have been so cool and windy. Okay. So this, you could put both the Merry and the Christmas on one block, but I prefer stamping my words individually so that I can get them as close as I want. I'm just going to trim off this bit so that we don't, because I don't want to turn it into a flag or a tag. I'll close this up. This is going to get added using some dimensionals. So, and if you were mass producing this, you could have switched this out. You could use that looks like it's a little crooked. That's okay. You could use a punch. Instead, it would be faster than die cutting it. So you could definitely use a punch for that. Okay, let's add this to the inside. Okay, now it's time to embellish. We can leave it just like this, but a quick and easy way to step things up is just to add a little bit of twine. So I'm going to actually use both of these fibers. So I'm going to use some old olive linen thread and some vanilla twine, put them together and tie a bow. And if you don't have twine, you can always separate your ribbon. Often ribbon can be separated so that you can get some fibers. I prefer to use twine because it doesn't add a ton of bulk to your card, so you often don't need to pay extra postage. Whereas if you tie a bow from ribbon, depending on the type of ribbon, it can often add extra extra bulk to your projects, which means you have to pay extra postage. Postage is already expensive enough. All right. See, and look how much that adds to it. Such a simple thing to do, and it definitely adds to your project. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of these pecan dots and we're gonna add a few of these to our project. So I'm gonna add, let's see, we'll do one. Yeah, we'll do one on there. And then we'll do a couple on here. So there is card number 1. So that's with the pattern paper that we're using today, and then this was with the other pattern paper that I chose. So just using basically a greeting set, your patterned paper, and these fabulous dies, the greetings of the season dies. Okay, so that is card number 1. Now we'll move on to these two. Now these two are going to be very similar. They're going to be the same basic layout, except we're going to use opposite sides of the pattern paper, so the cards look very different. So we'll fold our card bases first. Make sure they're going the right way, and then we'll adhere our layers. So this One Sheet Wonder was actually inspired by, I forgot to write her name down, but something that I saw online. I did tweak it a bit to make it work for me. So I did change up some of the measurements. I added in a few more cuts, but I will, in the blog post, I will link to where I got the information. And actually I'll go back and add it to the description as well. So we're adding these to our card base with about 1/8 of an inch on the top and the 2 sides for this piece, and then the bottom and the 2 sides for the bottom piece. Now at this point, there's several different ways that you can decorate this. I'll give you a couple ideas depending on how simple you want it. So you could take this and you could stamp your greeting right down the center, and that could be your card. It could be done. You could stamp a strip at an angle like this, mat it, and then pop it up using dimensionals. You could add a bit of ribbon, but we're gonna do something different. So I took the great greeting that says, may, the same one that we used on the inside of the card. So may your holiday season be filled with warmth and cheerful celebration. And I stamped it with Versamark, embossed it with some gold embossing powder. I did it on Mossy Meadow and then also on vanilla. And I die cut it using this fabulous tag die, this one here. So I did that off camera just to speed things up a little bit since we're making 6 cards today. And now we're gonna embellish. So this one I wanted to do like primarily like vanilla and gold to make it look really, really classy. So we're gonna take, our gold twine, feed it through. So you need, I don't know, maybe about a 4-inch piece. We'll trim that. And then I'm gonna take my vanilla twine and I'm gonna wrap it around and tie a bow. That will hold my ribbon in place. Tie a bow. And we'll trim this. Okay, this is gonna go on using dimensionals. I think I say this every week. I really need to just go downstairs and get some regular size dimensionals. I need to restock my craft room with my regular size. I keep just grabbing another package of mini dimensionals. All right. And this is going to go on here right in the center. Just like that. Let's make our loops even. We'll trim this so it doesn't hang off the edge of the card or not hang off as much. Like that. Okay, and then we'll finish this off with some of our gold swirl dots. Again, these have retired. Where is my paper piercing tool? Here it is. And I always love to go back and try to find something in my stash that I can use up. And these are, like I said at the beginning of the video, these are perfect to complement this pattern paper. And there we go. We've got a beautiful vanilla and gold card, and here's one using the other pattern paper. So there's that. So we're going to do the exact same thing on this one, except we're going to take our vanilla twine, or not twine, our vanilla ribbon, or cream, I guess it is. Trim it. And then we're going to take some of the old olive linen thread, tie a bow. So we're following the same steps, we're just using slightly different product, which is a great way to not have to rethink the design. Coming up with a layout is what takes the longest amount of time, in my opinion. So if I can reuse a layout and just make slight modifications to make the card look different, I feel like it's a better use of time. All right, let's grab some more dimensionals here. All right. Okay, we'll peel these off. So for this particular one, I did not do, I don't believe I did anything on the inside, but you could stamp and emboss a gold greeting on the inside, and that would be beautiful. That's gonna go on there. Tweak that a little bit. We'll add our gold embellishments. And there we go. So here's with one side, there's with the other, and then here is the other side of this pattern paper. Okay, so that is card number 2. Okay, card number, well, I guess that's 2 and 3. Okay, so then 4 and 5, we're going to take these ones, and we're going to create gift card holders. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's fold along these score lines. And let's fold this one. We'll do the reverse, so they're slightly different. Okay. Fold our card bases. Okay, and then these pieces are going to go in the center here. I always love to have several gift card holders on hand for the holidays. Just for those people that we like to give gift cards to. But this one sheet wonder does not necessarily have to be for Christmas. You could do a bunch of birthday cards, just change out your pattern paper. So have a look and see what kind of cards you need, and then use a one sheet wonder pattern to create a stack of cards so that you have cards ready to go on hand. So I'm just putting a little bead of multi-purpose glue down both sides, and then we'll just set that on top, fold that in place. Do the same on this one. Like that. All right. Now we are going to take, so I've gone ahead and I've cut 2 more of the label shapes. So I used this one here this time. And we're going to stamp Season's Greetings. In Mossy Meadow. Again, you could emboss these in gold if you wanted. That would step it up just a little bit. And we're going to stamp it a little bit closer to the right hand side. So I've got my hole on the left. And of course, if you don't have these dies, you could use any label shape. We're going to do the same on both. Okay, and actually while we've got our ink out, let's stamp our inside pieces as well. So these cards are landscape cards, so we're going to put them this way. And we're going to take that nice big greeting again, ink that up and stamp it right in the middle. And then we'll do this one. Okay, now it's time to embellish. Let's set those 2 pieces aside. We're gonna bring in our 2 tags and we're gonna do the same thing for both of them. So I'm gonna take my cream ribbon, feed it through. And again, it's about 4 inches. And then we'll do this one. But then I wanted to bring in some gold as well. So I'm actually going to feed through some of the gold. And the hole is pretty small, but if you take your ribbon that you just fed through and you pull it tight, it will give you a little bit of a gap there. And this is really fine ribbon, so it will actually slip through that nicely. Do the same for this one. So earlier this week, demonstrators were able to view the holiday mini catalog. Well, I call it the holiday mini catalog. It's not the holiday mini catalog. It's called the September to December mini catalog. We were we were able to view it digitally, and oh my word, so many great things in that catalog. I'm so excited about it. Okay, so now I've just got a scrap of linen thread, and you don't need a very long piece. This you're not going to see. I just want to cinch these together. It's going to get covered over. So I'm just going to cinch them together, tie a knot, and then trim the ends. And I'm going to do the same for this one. I don't have a scrap, so I'll just grab a little bit of linen thread. This around. Cinch it. Tie a knot so it holds in place. And again, trim. It doesn't matter what you use because it's going to get covered over. All right, so now we've got these 2 pieces here. We're going to add some dimensionals to the back of those. So the other thing that you could do with this is, if you didn't want to turn these into gift card holders, you could stamp this greeting or one of the other greetings. There are a couple really great larger greetings. It's the most wonderful time of the year. You could stamp that on one of these tag images, and you could include some tags, or maybe you want to give some holiday themed tags as a gift to someone. You could make a few of those and tuck those in there, and then they could turn around and use those gift tags. So a gift included in the card. It doesn't have to necessarily be a gift card holder. All right, that's gonna go in here. And you can see I'm putting it a little bit lower with an even border on the right and the bottom. Okay, we could leave these like this, but you know that I'm not going to. I'm gonna step it up a little bit. So let's see. And you know what? I don't think I cut what I needed for this. Don't think I did. Okay, let's see here. So this was cut from the patterned paper, and let's use, oh, I did. Okay, I remember what I did now. Okay, so I cut these from the patterned paper. So remember at the beginning, I said to look at your patterned paper, and if you've got images that can either be die cut or fussy cut, then you can use your patterned paper, and it'll save you having to stamp and color and die cut. Well, you still need to either die cut or cut these. So there are coordinating dies that will cut these out, but I went ahead and fussy cut them because I don't have the dies. I think this is for another project. Yes, I need it for a different one. Okay, so this is going to go on here like this. So we're going to take this, I'm going to put, so it is fairly bulky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a single dimensional there, and then up here I'm going to put a double dimensional. So I'm just going to layer one dimensional on top of the other so that it sits nicely over top of this bulk. Oh, I guess I need to peel the backing on this one. Look how cute that is. All right, and then I've got an extra bell. This I'll just put a little bit of adhesive on. Pop it in there, and then this will go on the inside. Just like that. And then I think I'm using these two for this one. All right, and then what I'm going to do is add my actually I'll finish this one and then we'll add our embellishments. Okay, so for this one I chose a different image to cut out, but I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to put, good morning everyone, welcome, thank you so much for joining me today. This one here. So you want to be careful not to put adhesive like on this bit, because you want to be able to slide something in there. And this one again is going to get a double dimensional. Put that. And I do want to kind of make sure I cover this over. I'm going to move this knot just a little bit closer so it gets covered over. There we go. And then this is going to go on the inside. So this was around the edges. Actually, I think I'll put it on this side. It was around the edges, and so there was a flat bit. I like to try to use those pieces as much as I can, and they're perfect for embellishing on the inside of your cards if they've got a flat edge. And then we'll put this one on the inside. Like that. Okay, now it's time to embellish. So for this one, whenever I have anything kind of like that, I do like to put a little bit of twine on here. So I'm just going to tie a small bow from the vanilla twine. I feel like it finishes it off nicely. I'll just add a little drop of multi-purpose glue, position that on there. And then we can add our embellishments. And we're gonna do gold. On my sample, I did the pecan pie, but we're gonna do gold on this one, on these ones. See if I can try to use up these gold embellishments. All right, and there we go. We've got 2 gift card holders, or maybe you want to use them for tags. So here's a gift card. You can see that it just slides in there, and then you can write your message on the inside. So that slides in there like that, and then this one slides in like that, and then here are the other ones. So using the other patterned paper that I use, there's those ones. All right. So those were cards 4 and 5. Now we're going to work on card number 6. And I had mentioned that this one is a little bit of a fun fold. It opens a little bit differently. So this card base is 4 1/4 by 11. And normally you would either have it open like this, or you'd have it open like this. But we're going to put the score line at the bottom. Okay. And you're probably wondering, why in the world would you do that, Sherry? That doesn't make sense, but you'll see. Okay, and this embossed piece, so I have used the Birchwood embossing folder, which is a product that is not yet available. It will be available to customers in September, or to demonstrators with the pre-order in August. So I'm just distressing around the edges. This is my favorite technique at the moment. I love to do it. It doesn't require any special tools, and it just gives great texture to your project. So that's going to go in the center with a nice even border all the way around. Okay, and then this piece, now we need to decide, do we want it, I am going to do it this way, because that feels like it's a bit too much green. So we're going to do it this way. I'm going to fold along this score line. This is 3 inches wide, so I'm going to use my grid mat and just find the 1.5 inches, mark it, and I'm going to flag the bottom. So I'm just going to go up maybe 3/4 of an inch, and then cut in from either side. And that's going to give me a nice even flag. All right, and then this is going to go on here. So remember, I've got my opening at the top. I'm pushing this down as far as it will go. I'm making sure that the flag bit is in the center. I'm going to flip it over, add my adhesive, and then I'm going to close my card. Okay, so now the way it's going to open is it's going to open up and then down. All right, okay, and then this piece, again, we're going to create another gift card holder. So we are going to stick this on the inside. We're going to put this on here like this. Position it in the center so that we have a nice even border all the way around. And then we're going to stick this little flap down. And then we're going to add add adhesive just to the two sides and the bottom. And then this is going to go right on top. Like that. So now we've got a great gift card holder. On the inside, we're going to stamp "It's the most wonderful time of the year." And I'm going to stamp it closer to the right-hand side. I'm going to get up on my toes here. And that way your gift card can be kind of tucked to the left. All right, so then we're going to close this up, and now it's time to embellish. So I've gone ahead and I've cut from some old olive cardstock. I've cut this die here, and then from some vanilla, I cut this oval shaped die. And we're going to stamp "Merry Christmas" in some Mossy Meadow. So I'm going to stamp Christmas first, and I'm going to stamp it close to the bottom of the oval shape. And then I'm going to take the Merry, but I'm going to use the block font rather than the scripty font. And stamp Merry. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to adhere this. This is going to hang a little bit off the edge of this piece. So you don't want to add adhesive here, because remember, this is going to lift up. So you don't want to seal it down, otherwise you won't be able to get your card open. So I'm just going to add adhesive to that little bit. Hold this down, and I want it right about there, I think. Okay, then we're going to take some of our vanilla trim, or vanilla ribbon, or cream ribbon. We're just going to cut two pieces, about 4 inches, maybe 3 3/4. We're going to add a little bit of seal, and this is going to go at a slight angle like that. I'm going to add a little bit more seal over top. We'll add the second one like that, and then I'm going to add more seal, and this is where this piece comes into play. So I love this green plaid pattern. Love, love, love it. So we're just going to cut, it's about, again, 3 3/4 or 4 inches. That's going to go across like that. This piece is going to get 2 dimensionals on it. So you can see we covered up the tag bit. So you don't necessarily just always have to use these dies as tags. You can strategically use them just as label shapes. So that's going to go on here, kind of in the center like that, over top. And then I've got some other little bits here that I've cut out. So again, from the pattern paper. Just kind of curl those up, give them a little bit more movement. I'm going to put 1 dimensional kind of right here. And then I'll use some seal adhesive on the bottom here. That's going to go on here like that. Again, you want to be mindful. Oh, this can't hang off of the card because otherwise it's not going to fit in your envelope. So you do want to be mindful of that. Move it, adjust it just a little bit. And you don't want to put adhesive on anything that's going to hang over this tag shape. And then this guy can get cut, kind of tucked in behind there. Just like that, and we'll finish it off with a vanilla twine bow. Boy, Boy, we've got people from Germany. We've got people from France watching. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Watching from all over. All right, and then we'll pop a little dot of multi-purpose glue on here. We'll do that, and we'll finish it off with some gold dots, and that will be our sixth Christmas card from one piece of pattern paper. All right, let me bring them all back for you so that you can see them. Okay, so first of all, let me share. Here we go. So this opens like this, and then like this. You can tuck in a gift card. So again, like this, and like this. And let me grab a gift card so I can show you what it looks like. You can just kind of tuck that. If you put it at an angle, you can still see the greeting. Isn't that fun? So fun, something a little bit different. Okay, so there are cards. Card number 6. And then we've got this one and this one. This was card number 5, card number 4, card number 3, card number 2, and card number 1. So I've got 12 Christmas cards already done and made using 2 pieces of pattern paper following the same kind of template. They came together really quickly. And really all you need is a few sheets of cardstock, a great label shape or die set. I mean, you could replace these with rectangles as well, but it's a little bit more fun with a variety of shapes. And then a fabulous greeting set. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. If you are not yet a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. And I will, once the blog post goes live, I will post it in the description so that you can find a link to the blog post, which has all the measurements. And there you'll find a full supply list in both the blog post and in this video. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye, guys.